guys, today I'm going to be sharing with you a recipe for cheese Alfredo Tteokbokki. To make this recipe, you're going to need a few things, including 4 ounces of cream cheese, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 cup of butter, 1 cup of milk, and this can be any type of milk. I used whole milk, 3 ounces of parmesan cheese, and last you need 1 cup of rice cakes. First, I cut up some bacon. I cut it lengthwise and then widthwise. What you want to do is cut these into about 1/4 inch pieces. Next, you're going to put them in a frying pan. You'll only fry them for around 3 to 4 minutes since they're in small pieces. You just want to make sure that they are nice and crispy. Make sure to stir them around so they don't burn. And once they are nice and crispy, you can remove them and set them in a bowl aside for later on. After you set aside the bacon, you can start making the sauce. Also, if you don't want to make your own sauce, you can skip forward and just buy a sauce like this one or this one. Otherwise, to get started, first you'll add the 1/4 cup of butter. When you add it to the pan, make sure that the pan has warmed up for a little bit on the burner. Make sure to stir around the butter so that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan or burn. You're going to want to keep stirring the butter until it is melted all the way. And after that, you're going to go ahead and add the 4 ounces of cream cheese. Here's a little tip for you. Make sure to leave out the cream cheese for a couple hours before you start, just so that it's at room temperature. I did forget to do this, and so since the cream cheese was cold, it did curdle a little bit, which made the mixing process go a little bit longer. But once you have the cream cheese in the pan with the butter, you're just going to want to stir it around, and I think the best way to do that is to use a whisk, especially since I didn't set it out a couple hours before. It did take a pretty long time to combine the two together, and it did just start to feel like it was just going to be lumpy, but I promise if you keep mixing it together, it will become a nice and creamy texture. Keep whisking and whisking until you get something that kind of looks like this and has a smooth texture and kind of looks like you might think an Alfredo sauce would look like. Once it starts to look similar to this consistency, you can go ahead and get the milk out. So for adding the milk, you want to add it in just a little bit at a time. For this recipe, it called for 1 cup of milk, and I just added it slowly and would mix it around and then add a little bit more. And I kept stirring till all of the milk was mixed in well. And after that, you can add in the 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Just like everything else, you want to make sure it is mixed in really well. And once it is mixed all together, you can add in the Parmesan cheese. Again, You want to add it little bit by little bit slowly and make sure it is mixed well. Once the cream is done, you can add it into another pan. I used the same one that I had fried the bacon in. Wait for the sauce to simmer. And after that, you can add in the cup of rice cakes. You want to make sure to keep stirring this and just make sure that they are not sticking to the bottom or that the cheese sauce is not burning on the sides of the pan. You want to let it simmer for around 7 to 8 minutes. And after that, you can do the final step, which is add the bacon. You can either do this right in the pan, or if you want to add it after you scoop out the servings, you can do it that way too. After you add the bacon, you are all done and you made your cheesy Alfredo tteokbokki. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do have any questions, leave them down in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video and I will see you in my next one.